Okay, hello there once again. Welcome to the program to kick off another week here on the sheet for this Monday, June the 22nd. And before we get to our guests and the big story of the day, which happened yesterday, that's bleeding into today and will probably take us all the way into the NHL draft on Friday and Saturday, I have an idea. Before we get to all of this, I have an idea, and it kind of winks at what we just saw yesterday with Brady Tkachuk going to the Florida Panthers, plays with his brother, blah, 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 blah. And on the heels of Quinn Hughes. And on the heels of maybe we'll see what happens with the goaltender in Winnipeg.
Don't say the other guy.
What's that? Which is the other guy? Am I missing one here? Oh, right, your guy in Toronto.
Continue.
Oh, okay. You want to go there too? Oh, yeah, no? All right.
I specifically said don't say that guy.
All right. Lane Hudson's locked up in Montreal, by the way. Events get a certain amount of gravity and a certain amount of traction when it reflects the mood of, well, bluntly, the world. When you capture a spirit, you capture the sort of, to use a pretentious term, zeitgeist of the moment, things can really resonate. Okay, I think that's why Four Nations worked so great, because there was a political undertone, some would say overtone, over all of it, right? And that's why it worked, because it captured a mood and it captured a spirit. And that's why Four Nations, specifically that Saturday night in Montreal, captured something. So with that in mind, I was texting with a buddy of mine this morning about this idea. And this is for All-Star. This is for like All-Star weekend, both the games and also the events. USA versus the world. Because isn't that how it feels right now? Outside of people in the United States, maybe even for some in the United States. Is that not the way that it feels right now? And if you're the NHL, would you not want to capture and capitalize on that? Once upon a time, they used to do North America versus the world. No. USA versus the world. At All-Star. You tell me that wouldn't capture a certain imagination and might actually make it, dare I say, a little more competitive? USA versus the world.
Well, why do you say a little more competitive?
Because it's every country against the United States for all of the obvious reasons. There is that feeling that it is USA stands the bunch right now internationally. And for the purposes of hockey, it is USA getting together on all the U.S. national, essentially the secondary gold medal teams. Vegas, Minnesota, Florida. USA versus the world. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
home run
it would
idea?
be entertaining. Yeah, I like it.
Or trash bin?
No. I like it.
Canadians would get up for it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was thinking about it from a Canadian perspective. I think Canadians would really
hockey
enjoy it.
Players
Not
from
because
NATO countries would get behind it.
Yeah, exactly. It would also be kind of funny where it's like flipping it on its head, where it's, in a sense, okay, you want to leave our teams, from a Canadian market perspective, you want to leave our teams and go build your super teams. Okay, when we get to the international level, we will do the same, where it's already superstar teams and super teams in a sense that you want to build. Okay, we'll go and take the best from Sweden and Finland and Russia if that ends up happening, and pick your country, Switzerland, and we'll build a super team here too.
And I want to end on this one. The reason it works right now is you can only do this when the country in question is on top of the hockey world. And that's where the United States finds themselves now, right? After a triple sweep of gold at the Olympics. That's why this thing works so well right now. Tell you, man, USA versus everyone.
I will just say I don't think that it would be...
No one's
I
turning
feel
it
like
off,
the
Zach.
super team.
Everyone's
I think
watching
no,
this
that's
thing.
not what I'm saying. I'm saying
okay.
I think the super team that you would build in the world, let's just say outside of USA versus the world, I think they would be too good.
Only one way to find out, Zach. Now you're curious. Now
Yes,
you've created
I am.
another question. So you're
But I think that
feeding
team
right
would be too good.
Free idea. Free idea we just lob out. Okay, here's what's coming out of the program today. And this is sort of the undercurrent of a lot of it we're just talking about here with Zach. The Blueprint is powered by FanDuel. Download the app today and play your game on FanDuel. We are moments away from having an in-depth discussion about, Brady Tkachuk with Dave Pagnotta, DFO insider. Brandon Bussi, Stanley Cup champion netminder from the Carolina Hurricanes, stops by. We'll talk about the massive deal. We'll talk about what now in Ottawa. We should also talk about what now with the Florida Panthers. Oilers extensions that we've seen over the past couple of days, and the Carolina Hurricanes, both celebrations and also contract signings during celebrations. Anyhow, let's park that and bring aboard Dave Pagnotta, who's been very busy for the last 24 hours, I would suspect, as all the news going down between the Florida Panthers and the Ottawa Senators. Like, it's not exactly a secret, Dave. Like, there was a reason we continued to mention this out in the open or speculate on how long is Brady Tkachuk going to be in Ottawa. I know Ottawa fans didn't like it. I know they pushed back hard and would gleefully embrace and retweet everything that Brady Tkachuk said to the contrary. I understand that, and I don't want to pile on Ottawa Senators fans. It's a tough day. It's been a tough 24 hours for Ottawa Senators fans. But I don't think anybody can look at this situation and say, well, we didn't see this one coming. We didn't see this one coming.
The tea leaves, they were there. And
yeah.
Some of us were reading them, some didn't want to. And I understand why. I mean, he's the captain. He's one of your best players. He's been saying all the right things, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter was that word started to spread mid-season that he probably was going to look elsewhere beyond the 2 years that he had left on his contract, and that message was more thoroughly delivered to the Senators at the exit meetings. They were uncomfortable with the lack of commitment, understandably so, and they decided to get in front of this now, more or less, at the time, not wanting this to get out as a true, a legitimate, not legitimate, but like a true pathway. Like, we all know what's going on in Detroit with Dylan Larkin. The Wings weren't too happy that got out. And they got to deal with a little bit of backlash on that front. And so does the player. Ottawa wanted to avoid all of that. I thought this was going to be something, quite frankly, Jeff. I thought this was going to be like a draft day bomb kind of scenario. I did not expect it to happen when it did yesterday, but it has. And it's leading to one hell of a fun week to talk about all the hoopla around the NHL. But fact of the matter is that this was something that, under the circumstances, Ottawa did very well with, and we'll see where they pivot and where they flip some of these assets, because they're trying to.
Nobody thinks for 1 second that Steve Staios is going to make all of these picks. Nobody believes. No one believes. And listen, he's been quite open about the idea that, like, we're still move forward. And here's the thing about it. I find it distasteful when a player leaves and everyone, and especially local media, just like, okay, it's Pagnotta time. Now we're just going to slam him on the way out. Like, okay, good riddance. Here's your hat. What's your hurry? Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I find it really distasteful. I understand why it happens, and fans like it. I get it. I understand that. But what I'm going to say about Brady Tkachuk in Ottawa might sound like an insult, but I don't intend it as an insult. He's probably better as a complimentary player on the Florida Panthers, where he doesn't have to be the captain. That's Alexander Barkov, as opposed to being the guy leading the charge in Ottawa. Everybody's got a place. Everybody's got a spot. Everyone's got a role where they are most comfortable and most effective, right? And if you force someone to be something that they're not, it can be really uncomfortable. What's the old line? Cows don't make ham. You can't make someone turn someone into something that they're not. Yeah. This one does seem like a better fit for Brady Tkachuk. There were plenty of times where you saw Brady go into crazy mode and you would see the eyeballs rolling on the bench. Like, okay, here we go again. Here comes the show. Or you're fighting off the draw, are you? Okay, here comes the show. Right. I think in a situation like the Florida Panthers with those veterans, with those cups, with that Barkov, with his older brother, it's probably a better situation for Brady. That's how it feels to me. Does it feel that way to you?
Yeah, it makes sense. I understand what you're saying. You have Matthew there. You have Barkov. You have Bennett and Reinhardt and Marchand and
Good Lord.
Ekblad. And
they have all these guys?
And so on and so on.
Did they have a different cap?
Their top 9 is ridiculous.
Yes.
You add Brady to that mix, it's ridiculous. And it does provide him with a lot of cover. And I think the fit is a little more understanding because like we've seen Matthew go off the rails every once in a while. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows what they're going to get from that bloodline. So, it's going to be an easier type of fit. And look, I get Sens fans. I get everybody's pissed off and, feeling of betrayal or whatnot. Like most of what Brady said was at the time was pretty accurate. He committed his time to Ottawa, to the organization. He did enjoy it. He was, committed to competing for the city and the market at the time. But when you go back and you look at things, if you didn't catch it then, you probably will catch it now. Nothing was in the affirmative. Nothing was in the present. It was all I've been, nothing further to that. And then of course, some commentary about, well, no, those words haven't been uttered out of my mouth and whatnot, which might have been true. Maybe he hadn't said them yet officially, but like I get, as I said, I get the frustration. I get the local knock. I'm with you. I don't particularly like it, but
yep.
I like the fit now for him. And I'm very interested to see what's next for the Panthers. I'm interested to see what's next for the Sens. And I'm interested to see what other big dominoes are going to fall because I'm expecting a few.
A couple of things there. One, we can't judge this trade yet.
Correct.
Like that's obvious. We cannot until we know what Steve Theos is going to do with those picks and perhaps other players too. I don't think we can judge this trade. The other is you ask about what's next for the Florida Panthers. They have $7 million in cap space and they still don't have a goaltender. Mm-hmm. There is a part of me that says the Florida Panthers have the chance here to be the most entertaining team in the world for 84 games if they don't get a good goalie.
Yeah.
If they don't get a good goalie, all these games will be wild. They will be awesome.
Yes. And I'm wondering, before this trade, and we had talked about this before in previous weeks, Florida kicked the tires on Hellebuck.
Of course.
In Winnipeg. They don't want to trade Lundell. They've made that abundantly clear. They don't have the 9th overall pick anymore. That's probably out the window. But is Jordan Binnington a possibility?
He's called this team Gold Medal Game.
Right.
The Gold Medal Game Panthers.
Right. The Golden Panthers.
The Golden Panthers.
Yeah. Let's see. They can play Vegas in the final. I expect them to go in that type of direction if they can't come to terms with something with Bob. And we knew. I mean, this isn't a surprise to them either. They knew in the season towards the trade deadline that Bob was looking for term. He wanted, the word was, a Marchand type of deal. It still seems to be the case. And it's clearly not something that they're comfortable with, at least right now, based on what the numbers are that are being floated around. So if they do change and pivot, doesn't look like it's Hellebuck, I could certainly see them going in the Binnington direction. 1 year left on his deal, $6 million, $6.25 something along those lines, a little bit more palatable. And if you need to free up more money, you've got a guy now on the fourth line who's making just over $3 million in Evan Rodriguez, who will generate a decent enough return to justify making that move if, again, you need that money.
The cap hit is $6 million
for Binnington. Yeah.
For Binnington. It's doable.
Well, it is, depending on obviously what goes back and how they work that out. I'm expecting him to be moved this offseason, whether it's Florida or Edmonton, Toronto, wherever. Now there's word that Toronto's looking at their goaltending all over again.
Yep.
But I'm expecting they like Hofer, and it wouldn't surprise me. It probably wouldn't surprise Bennington either if something happens. He's got a little bit of no trade protection, by the way.
Here's the other thing. You wrote about this with the Ottawa Senators situation and Jason Robertson. Like that thing, I keep saying, like, until like this has been going on for a long time here, and these two sides are still apart. I know that Jim Nill mentioned that there's no drop dead here. I don't think he wants us to go to arbitration. If I'm putting on a sort of decoder ring, I'm thinking, okay, he wants this done by the draft, like one way or the other. And here's the thing that I keep coming back to. What's the Rantanen deal in Canada? Because if
14?
he's turned that down, and he wants more than the Rantanen deal, that's like negotiating with a no-tax state team. What is it in Canada?
14 plus. And my understanding of the situation is that he's their top target, Ottawa's top target, Robertson. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Doesn't mean Dallas could negotiate and then trade him somewhere else if they feel they can get a better return. If they're not signing him, they could also sign him. But my understanding is, for now, that's who Ottawa wants. That's who they want to go after. They're McTavish. There's other pieces, obviously, but that's kind of atop the wish list. And as part of my understanding as well is that they are prepared to give him significant dollars. And whether that's 14.5 more, it sounds like that's something that they're prepared to do, at least internalizing that ploy, that pathway to making something happen. If he hits, RFA status, it would not shock me at all if they present him with an offer. Now, again, with regards to offer sheets, the player has to agree to it. So that's one part of the equation. But I would not be shocked if they go in this direction. Now, at the same time, Robertson may say, I just don't want to go to Ottawa. And I'm getting conflicting information / guesses, because I'm not talking to Jason Robertson directly. But people around the situation, some people don't believe that Ottawa's a fit. Some people believe that the money can make it a fit. So we'll see kind of how this all unfolds. Steve Staios is, as you mentioned earlier, like he's not done and he's looking. And if they can find a way to get Jason Robertson, I think that would be the most ideal, perfect world scenario for them under the circumstances right now in Ottawa.
So Brady Tkachuk goes to the Florida Panthers. Automatically, he makes more money. So he goes to a no tax state here. Anyone going to Canada is going to be taxed depending on the province. You know what? Just as a quick off ramp here. What I've always wondered about, and there are people that are much smarter than me who are going to tell me why this is a dumb idea, and I get it. And here it comes on Twitter in 3, 2, 1, go. But when calculating the salary cap per player, in order to compensate for various levels of taxation in different markets, do you know if there's ever been a conversation around judging the salary cap hit not based on gross but based on net? So after after taxations, that is your actual that becomes, but like for the purposes of like putting your team together, so there can be no advantage from team to team, whether you play in Montreal or you play with the Florida Panthers, that it's the net, not the gross.
I don't know if the NHLPA.
I don't think they want to go down. I don't know if the NHL wants to go down because it's really confusing. But the other option is this. And I know people can come back and say, well, hang on a second here. The Montreal Canadiens are the highest taxed. Like those players are the highest taxed of anyone in the NHL, and they just beat a team from Florida in the first round. So there is that ability for people to say, hold on a second here. It doesn't always equal wins. However, I think it would be foolish for anyone to think that it's not a competitive advantage, because it is.
Absolutely it is. 100%. Absolutely it is, because if I'm saving $1 million off of 10 guys, well, let's calculate. Let's carry it. It's $10 million.
You're skating with an extra $10 million hockey player.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You got another. The assets there are exponential in comparison because guys will take because they're dealing with it on the net side. So if I'm going to sign here and I'm going to take home $5.2 million versus a tax-free state where I'm taking home 5.9 or 6.3 or something along those lines, well, math suggests that that's a better avenue to go down. So it does factor in from the player standpoint, certainly in that regard. It would definitely complicate things if it was across the board, even more. And they told me there'd be no math, so not looking forward to putting all that together.
The only thing about it too is like I've been preaching forever. Like, okay, it's time to get the training wheels off the salary cap here. Like, we essentially had the same cap going back to 2005. Like, we're far enough along here that we should maybe start playing with this. Take the training wheels off and like let it start to let the baby start to walk a little bit.
Well, I think before we get to that, let's see with the incremental increases in the cap. Once we hit 130 million or whatever, let's see where the spending goes across the board before we start, because these guys can't help themselves.
Of course
not.
No,
I've got an internal cap and I'm not exceeding that. What, you want 250 more?
Yeah.
All right, fine. Like it means we can get you fine. Let's see how that all plays out first beforehand, because these are just going to go flying all over the place. So we have an extra 10 million to play with next year. Okay.
And then it's going up again. Then it's going up again.
Yeah, exactly. Bam, bam, bam. So like a lot of these teams are looking at this and they're forecasting further, and that's why we're seeing more activity now, coupled with a shallow free agent market. But why we're seeing so much activity now and teams with a willingness to make these bolder moves, because there's also a willingness for a lot of these teams to do better. Like, you telling me Minnesota doesn't want a Stanley Cup? They went after Brady. They brought in Quinn. They're going to continue to go after Larkin. And that's what I'm curious about too. Whatever they proposed and they felt was a better offer for Brady, you just use that to go get Dylan Larkin? I mean, is it that simple? I guess maybe not, because it hasn't happened yet. But with all the money floating around and all the teams that have a willingness to spend it and make these bold moves, it leads to a very entertaining 2 weeks here.
It's gonna be fascinating. And one of the stories that Canadians are talking about too is like the player drain. I know that Zach's going to cover his ears here in case we talk about Austin Matthews, but here's whether it's Quinn Hughes in Vancouver and Brady Tkachuk in Ottawa, we wonder about Connor Hellebuck in Winnipeg, etc. I mean, the common denominator here is a couple of things. One, gold medal team, and two, captains leaving. Significant American players leaving to go to the United States.
Yeah, but and I get that, but I look at it as Vancouver sucks. So, I mean, the city's awesome. I love it, but the team's going through the rebuild. So, that's good reasoning. Winnipeg crapped all over themselves and couldn't get it together until way too late. And there's a lot of frustration there from Hellebuck because he wants to win after the gold medal and getting a taste of that. But then you could turn around and say, well, Dylan Larkin wants out of Detroit for the same reason. And then some people may say, well, it's so close to Canada.
It's basically Windsor. Detroit's basically Windsor.
Yeah. Okay. So fine. It all makes sense. But yeah, look, for me, it's winning. Like, winning changes everything. And if you have an opportunity to win consistently, why would you not want that? Why wouldn't you want to take it?
I get it.
And I think in Toronto's side of it, like I put Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid in the same boat to a degree. Toronto needs to improve. They want to compete. They want to make the playoffs and make noise and then grow off that. Edmonton needs to win now. And if that doesn't happen on either side, then both of those guys are going to go, why am I here? Why? Why are we wasting everybody's time? And that's what those teams are trying to prevent. And we'll see, because I think there's a lot more coming down for both of those clubs, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Listen, some business done on the weekend. You mentioned the Edmonton Oilers, Connor Murphy, Jason Dickinson, 5 times 4.1 for Connor Murphy, and yesterday 5 years, $4 million for Jason Dickinson. To which Dave Pagnotta says what? What do you think?
Good moves. Now go out and go do more, because there's a lot more that needs to happen. But they shore up the 3C position. Obviously they haven't, but in terms of moving forward, they lock that in. They bring in Murphy, who did well on that back end for them. So good housekeeping that needed to happen for the Edmonton Oilers. Henrique won't be back. Roslovic doesn't look like he's coming back either. Getting conflicting information on Kapanen, but I think they're going to explore other options.
Yep.
And they've got some money to spend. And then, of course, what's happening with Darnell Nurse and what deal are they going to be able to figure out there? It's not going to be a lone dump. They're going to get something back in return as part of it, wherever that ends up being. But beyond then, depending on that return, how does the rest of the blue line look? Are they going to be able to get that winger that they want to play up top with Connor and Hyman? And who's in net? Another big question.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that needs to happen there. And the goaltending one is very intriguing for me. Do they go Bob? Do they go in that direction? If they don't have the assets to trade for like a Binnington, for example, I don't think Markstrom is going. I think Edmonton's on his no trade. Who else do we have? Merzlikins has a limited no trade. I'm not sure where that's at, but he's out there. Yeah. Is that much of a boost, for you, or do you go out for Bob? And Freddie Anderson's a UFA too, but I mean, I don't know. They've got some options, and I haven't gotten a stranglehold yet on what their clear desire is with respect to addressing the net.
Or do you go out and try to find the best available American Hockey League goaltender? Because to be honest with you, and Brandon Bussi is going to be joining me here in a couple of seconds, that has worked marvelously for a lot of teams.
Tremendous.
And I know Costa's name is out there. Mikey DiPietro, his name has been out there for a lot. I know they have been on it. It's not always the sort of the multi-million-dollar contract, the guy with the rings that gets it done for you. Sometimes that guy's playing in the American League. Dave, thanks. It's been great. As always, it's going to be a busy week for you. I know your phone's going to be on nonstop. Try to squeeze in a couple hours of sleep, bud. I know it's not the time of year to sleep, but try to take care of yourself. Your mother and I are very concerned. Try to take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Okay, you'll be good.
I think the amount of espresso I'm going to be drinking over this next week might prevent that in general. But
no, I know.
I'll try.
You'll be awake, and you'll be awake until arbitration starts. Okay, you be good. We'll chat soon.
All right, see you, buddy.
There he is, Dave Pagnotta, DFO insider from the fourth period. Okay, I mentioned American Hockey League goaltenders, one who's no longer an American Hockey League goaltender, who now has a Stanley Cup ring, and boy, was there a celebration of all time to mark the occasion this past weekend in Raleigh. He is Brandon Bussi, and he joins me on the program now. First of all, Brandon, congratulations on winning the Stanley Cup. I think every kid, I was a failed goaltender when I was a kid too, but I grew up with those dreams and the Stanley Cup and all that. When you measure off, like when you were a kid playing net, thinking about winning the Stanley Cup, did it feel like that? Like, how did it feel for you to actually win it? And what did you think it was going to be like when you were a kid?
Yeah, I think it exceeded all those expectations, right? You dream about it as a kid, going to bed at night, you imagine yourself having that opportunity was so special. Family there with me makes it even better.
Speaking of people close around you being there, one of my favorite things about the Stanley Cup final was watching your parents and your fiance. I'm not sure if you got a chance to watch some of the cutaway shots to your family, but they very much looked like people that were as invested as you were. Like, I've always maintained there's a special place in heaven for goalie moms because nobody feels it quite like goalie moms. Did you get a chance to see any of the cutaway shots to your parents and your fiance?
Yeah, I've definitely seen some of them. It's special. Their sacrifice is why I'm able to do what I'm doing right now. And it's more gratifying that they've gotten to enjoy all the celebration. And and even friends, other family members being a part of it has made it more special than even me just doing it.
I want to ask you about a couple of things here, including Game 3, one of the craziest Stanley Cup playoff games we've ever seen. But what were your highlights from the weekend? What were your highlights from the parade and the party? Was it the tearing of your coach's shirt? Whether it was the Nick Delorier contract extension? What was it? What was the highlight for you?
Yeah, the parade was unbelievable. Our fans showed out. I think they've shown that Raleigh's a hockey market. Like, our fans love us. They care so deeply, and to see all their support that day was just astonishing. We were also, I don't want to say surprised. We knew it was special, but it exceeded all of our expectations. So, and obviously we can't do what we do without them. So, that whole day was just awesome, and everyone was pulling on the rope in participation.
It looked like a lot of fun. Like, just bluntly, like, there's one of those days where you're just like, oh man, these guys are having the time of their lives. So I asked a former teammate of yours, what do you think I should know about you? And here's what he said. First of all, he said, best guy, tries hard. Every game he was our best player. And here's the line that really stood out to me. This is from this morning. He said, he controls his effort and attitude. He worries about the rest later. Is that true? That's mainly what you carry about your effort and attitude.
Yeah, I think that's what we can control. I think as goalies, there's a lot of things you can't control over the course of a game and a season. So those are two important values to me, and I don't worry about anything else.
One follow-up to that, because I said, like, those are great compliments. Can you color it in? He said, this is such a good line. In a game of so much optimization and guys wearing effing whoops and all that shit, he shows up and stops the puck. In the world of optimization, Bussi shows up and stops the puck. What do you think when you hear that?
Yeah, whoever gave you the nice words about me, I probably owe him a cup of coffee or something. So, but yeah, I mean, that's my job. I don't really worry about anything else. Like, I go out there and stop the puck. I stay in the moment and do the best I can to help my team win games, whether it's 1-0 or 6-5, right? Just find a way to make that one more save.
One of the things, and I'll bring it to Game 3, just a wild game. Like, I remember at the end of it, people saying that's the best Stanley Cup game we've ever seen. This is one of the games we're going to be talking about forever. And it had one of the weirdest finishes. Bounce off the boards, hits and goes in. The thing that really was remarkable about it was you didn't seem like you didn't freak out about it. You didn't let yourself get distracted about it. Like, everyone that I've talked to who was near you or around you all said he's pretty calm about the whole thing. How accurate was that?
Yeah, absolutely, right? It's a best of 7 series, right? It's the first team to win 4 games. So, yeah, ideally you don't want to go down in a series like that being on the road, but it happens, right? We didn't look at our playoff run as we have to go 16-0 to win, right? It was day by day, right? How are we going to win the day? And yeah, the overtime goal, it was fluky in a sense, right? Good play by their guy taking the shot, going off the wall. Came off hot, a lot hotter than I thought it was. And, I don't really know what I was trying to do. I think I was trying to get my pad around to kind of catch the puck in a way to prevent it from going underneath me or back in front. And I was just slow and I kicked it in. So, yeah, it's a mistake, but it happens. You can't dwell on that stuff, right? At the time, we're going into Game 4, and it's still very much a series, right? We were never discouraged, and I think throughout the playoffs and regular season as well, like when we've had adversity, we were able to handle it. So, full confidence in our group that, we were going to bounce back and do what we had to do.
What are the memories you're going to take away, like outside of that final goal? Like, what memories are you taking away from that game? I mean, it really was an incredible game for both teams. I mean, Vegas tilting the rink in the second, and you guys coming right back in the third, and then jump ball after that. You guys had the advantage in the first, but no score. What are you going to take away from that game?
Yeah, just we're right. That I think you can't expect to turn it on in playoffs, right? So there's numerous times in the regular season I feel like we never got discouraged with our game, and we just stuck to it, right? And we found ways most nights to get it done. So
Mm.
obviously we didn't find a way that night, but there were definitely characteristics in that game that we were able to carry forward for the rest of that series.
So there was, so I spoke with TJ Oshie a couple of weeks ago, actually right after you guys won. And I asked him when he was playing with the Washington Capitals, playing against Vegas, and they won in 5. When did it feel like they had broken the Vegas Golden Knights or finally had the Vegas Golden Knights? Like, I look at you guys and I say, I watched game 4, and as game 4 progressed, it looked like I was watching Carolina figure out the Vegas Golden Knights, and then there was no looking back. Like, did it feel like it was game 4 where Carolina either broke Vegas or just figured out how to beat Vegas? And what TJ Oshie said to me was, it happened in game 1. And I said, how did it happen in game 1? He said it was late in the game, and there were guys on the ice arguing with each other and taking it to the bench and snapping at each other. And he said, I went back to the bench and I was like, guys, like, we have this. We have this series. This team is already cracking under the pressure. Was there a moment like that for you guys, and was it game 4?
That's a tough question for me to answer. I think one of the players might have a better answer because for me, I never looked for any of those details. Like I just worried about myself and what I need to do to try and help the team win. So, I felt like we cracked them when the clock hit 0 in Game 6.
Well, I think I say like the empty netter by Ehlers. Like, you weren't even confident then. It's such a goalie
No,
answer.
no,
You didn't
no.
allow
I mean, let's
yourself
be
after
real.
the empty netter.
Everything about that series, you never take anything for granted. It's two
Yeah.
extremely good hockey teams playing great hockey. Like you take a step back as a player, and that was really good hockey. The fans got to watch. Two great
Mhm.
teams, and we're just fortunate that we were able to come through in the end.
What's it like playing behind that defense? Well, I mean, Slavin, the Jacob Slavin story is so well told now. But, one of the points we've been trying to get across here on this program is that everybody improves in Carolina, and specifically defensemen. This is the best we've seen Keandre Miller play. It's the best we've seen Walker play. This is the best we've seen Shane Gostisbehere play, maybe since his rookie season with Philadelphia. What's it like being the goalie behind all of that?
Yeah, it's fun. I think we always talk about like our care and compete, and that was on full display out of our decor. I mean, their sacrifice, willingness to block shots. I can't even call out one specific instance because everybody's doing it at some point. So I think that's why, as a decor, we were so successful. Is it wasn't just trying to keep the puck out of the net; it was like a legitimate care factor.
Mm-hmm.
And during the playoffs, you need to play your best when it matters, and they did. And I look at our team as a whole, and I don't look at us like underdogs, but I see a lot of guys that were counted out, whether it was their time in Carolina or previous places before. Everybody knew they were good hockey players, but they didn't know if they had it.
Yeah.
And it's great to see that all those guys prove people wrong in that sense.
What is it about the Carolina penalty kill? Because that thing is, like we've talked about before, like you can either have a tough guy, and you do in Delorier, or you can have a great penalty kill. Like your penalty kill was elite. Like your penalty kill was an enforcer. Like your power play can be an enforcer, your penalty kill can be an enforcer too. What was it about the PK?
Yeah, I'm like a broken record, but again, it's the care and compete, right? I mean, it's the sacrifice. Everybody putting their bodies on the line.
Yeah.
They we make it hard on power play, right? We don't want to allow them to do what they want if we can, right? Which is hard to do because there's so many elite players in the league, and if there's ever a down, it's my job to stop the puck. So it's a combination of a lot of things, but again, it's the willingness to sacrifice. There are guys maybe look down and out, and somehow they get a stick on it or get a body on a puck to block it.
Mm-hmm.
Those little inches can make a big difference.
Let me close on one thing about you personally, and that is, now correct me if I'm wrong, This is the first contract you've had that's longer than 1 year, correct?
Yep.
What did that feel like? Getting that, like getting some security finally. Was it a massive issue for you?
I definitely wanted security, right? It's nice to know that I have a home, here in Raleigh. It's it's reassuring, but at the same time, I don't view it as I have a long stability contract. Like I'm in being a professional hockey player, you're constantly proving yourself. Yourself in a player, not in this league. So it's nice to have somebody. Um,
Okay, so we're having
perfectly honest.
well, listen, thank you so much for stopping by. Congratulations again. Looks great on you and the Carolina Hurricanes and their fans. Brandon, thanks so much for stopping by. And I know you have a big off season coming up personally, so enjoy that. And we'll look forward to seeing you back with the Canes next year.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Sorry if I cut out there. My bad.
That's okay. No problem. No problem. You made the save and you came right back. Look at you, just like a goaltender. All right. Thanks. You be good. Take care.
Thank you.
Brandon Bussi, man, he was a tremendous story all the way through too. And he's like, and you could kind of see it in his demeanor too. He's like the guy that doesn't complain. He's a guy that, as that one player who was a teammate of his texted me, like he just shows up and stops pucks every single day. My job to stop pucks. I show up and I stop pucks. In the world of optimization, he shows up and stops pucks. I love that quote. Anything from Bussi that you want to draw to our attention? Anything jump out at you there?
Well, I mean, the one quote that he had that I just laughed at was him talking about when he felt comfortable, and it wasn't even the 3-0 empty netter.
No, not even the Ehlers goal.
The moment the cup was above his head, that was when he felt comfortable with where they were at. I thought that was funny. I just love the fact that, and I'm not trying to diminish any of the things that you have to do along the way about the process and the technicality of everything for anybody involved, whether it's goaltenders, players, whatever. But him just saying, like, this guy just shows up every day and he's like, I got to stop the puck. Like, I show up and I stop the puck. And the quotes from his teammates and the whoops and the optimization and stuff. And it's like, this guy just shows up and he works as hard as he can and he stops the puck. I love that from him. He's like, that's my job. That's what I'm supposed to do. I thought that was funny.
Okay, a couple of other things. One, what have we done? We should probably get a couple of thoughts here on a couple of the other deals that we saw over the weekend. Really quickly, though. This segment, a presentation of the Ninja Crispy Pro Countertop Glass Air Fryer.
Get faster, crispier results at home or on the go with legendary Ninja air frying power. Prep, cook, serve, and store in non-toxic, clean, crisp glassware. Get more out of your air fryer with the Ninja Crispy Collection.
Okay, Shark Ninja elevating the air fryer experience. The Ninja Crispy Pro is a family-sized cooking system that comes with a 6-quart, 2.5-quart glassware, storage lids, crisper plates, and modular base for any occasion. The clean, crisp glassware is designed for non-toxic cooking and storing. Go from frozen to crispy with the thermal shock-resistant clean, crisp glassware. The Ninja Crispy Pro is powerful. It's an 1,800-watt air fryer that can cook a 7.5-pound chicken, feeding up to 10 people. It's customizable with 6-in-1 functions: max crisp, air fry, bake, roast, recrisp, and dehydrate. For more information on the Ninja Crispy Pro, visit the link in our description or go to sharkninja.ca. So a couple of things here. So Seattle, even though Seattle's not going to get the headlines from this weekend, Jason Botterill was pretty busy as well. Like we've talked about, Seattle needs to stop being the team that just hits singles to get on base, because that gets you in a position where everybody's playing one level higher than they should, right? Like you look at the Seattle Kraken lineup and do you not say to yourself, this guy's on the first line, but should really be on the second line. This guy's on the second line, he should really be on the third line. This guy's a first pairing D, but damn it, Adam Larson would be so good as a second pairing defenseman, ditto Vince Dunn. And you go right through the lineup. That's the lineup you get when you just hit for singles. So I like the deal that they made with the Florida Panthers, which the Panthers then spun around and turned into Brady Tkachuk, and that erased any headline for the Seattle Kraken. But the Mackie Samoskevich deal, is one of those. We think that there's untapped potential there. He's blocked in Florida. He's not going to get a consistent spot anywhere big. where he can show us what he can do. And I know you're going to, and we probably should. This one is, bluntly, this one's a Michigan deal. Jason Botterill is a Michigan guy. He went to Michigan, and who was Mackie Samoskiewicz's center when he played at Michigan? Matty Beniers. So there is a background there. And again, this is one of those, we're not bringing someone in who's just a good player, but has probably maxed out his potential. They're bringing in someone who, if everything goes right, can really give this team a charge. That is the opposite of how the Seattle Kraken have always behaved since they came into the NHL. I really like this deal a lot. Bobby McMahon re-signed 6 years, 5.7 is the AAV there. I know he was on a shooting percentage bender this year for Seattle after the Toronto Maple Leafs deal to Seattle there. But I don't know. I'm not a massive fan of that one, but if he can continue to score, I don't think he's going to shoot at the same level. But if he comes anywhere close, then it's probably a good deal. I just love the Mackie Samoskevich deal for the Seattle Kraken. I'm not sure if you have a thought on any of it or the Michigan of it all.
So I thought the same thing that you did in regards to they look at this guy and think there's something else there. With that said, I was a little bit surprised, I guess, at what the price was for a trade of we think there's something there. Ultimately, it could end up just being a moot point, and it doesn't matter. I was just kind of like, oh, okay. I'm not screaming overpay, but I was like, that's interesting. The only thing that's counterintuitive to what just happened was the deal for Bobby McMahon. You outlined it perfectly. They are a team, with no disrespect to the guys there, of guys. They got a bunch of guys. They got a bunch of guys who are pretty good, but nobody's really great. And
everyone
really
is
good.
One. Go to Daily Faceoff and go to the starting lineups for the Seattle Kraken. Everybody is one level higher than they should be.
Right.
Forwards and defense.
So they do the Samoskevich deal, and I'm like, okay, I get where you're at, where you're heading on this, what the idea is, and then they signed Bobby McMahon. I'm like, okay, well, you kind of have just done more of the same of what you've had.
What it says to me is, like, for sure, like, that's it for Eeli Tolvanen. He won't be back. Like, Tolvanen's not coming back. With the Samoskevich deal, I think specifically, or Bobby McMahon, like, he's not coming back. I honestly, like, I hate doing the instant analysis on something, knowing full well this is just the beginnings of what any general manager is doing. And that includes Bill Zito, who just pulled off a massive deal. He's not done yet. Yeah. So I know everybody wants, like, instant trade grades. I hate it. It's just like doing predictions. I don't know. Like, honestly, like, I really have no idea who's gonna win. So doing trade grades is always a weird one for me, because Botterill's not done. This is just the beginning of it. And we can nitpick or praise. In one sense, I'm praising the Samoskevich deal and you're nitpicking the Bobby McMahon deal. Neither of us are ultimately right, because we don't know how this is all going to play out for Seattle based on what Jason Botterill still has to do.
Entirely fair. That's entirely fair. Yeah, if he sits on his hands here now, or
well,
I
if that's it, then
I'd be like, what the hell happened? Yeah. Yes, yes.
Like, who knows? Like,
yes,
are they gonna trade Shane Wright? There's one for you. Are they gonna move Shane Wright? You know, and what are they gonna get? Yep. What are they gonna get back if they do that? Don't know.
Yes, that's entirely fair. And I think that's also the same thing here with Ottawa that we're looking at is like, okay, you've got these picks. We had Brent Wallace on Off the Roster this morning, and he basically said if the Senators make all 3 picks in the first round, there's going to be riots in Ottawa. Like, people are expecting, and I think Steve Stais himself, I'm guessing, but I assume in a candid moment he'd tell you, they don't expect to make all 3 picks. Or they hope not to, I should say, by Friday. No. So, you know, there's just more to come to all of these things, because it's easy to look at it right now and say, the hell's going on in Ottawa? They needed a player back. But those picks by Friday night, they could potentially, and I would say, honestly, in my opinion, more likely than not, be a player. So then that turns into something, and then we can evaluate the trade further. So I think that's entirely fair. But that's what this whole summer is going to be, which is going to be weird.
Let me throw something else on the table.
Okay.
You know which team the Ottawa Senators were all around all season long? All year long. It's a junior team.
junior team.
All like there's scouts all over them.
No. Who?
Brantford Bulldogs.
Okay, I was like, this is the obvious one. Came to my brain. We were there. We saw Steos in Brantford. Okay, yes.
But like all season long, like they were all over the Bulldogs. And of course, you'll think Caleb Malhotra, who's probably going to do 1 year at BU and then turn pro. I'm not saying that's happening or they're going to significantly move up to try to grab him, but I do think it needs to be part of the conversation. Now, you can also say, well, okay, genius, like Michael Andlauer, the owner of the Ottawa Senators, used to own the Bulldogs and sold to the Hyman family. Steve Staios used to be the general manager of the Bulldogs, and he's right down the street, so in the same province. So he's going to go check out his old team. Way to go, Marek. Way to go, Captain Obvious here. But I think it does need to be part of the conversation that of all the teams, like they really had eyeballs on the Bulldogs a lot this year. Can I interest you in something Malhotra, Ottawa Senators fans?
Exactly. Okay, so then how does that play out here as you get to this? Because let's say you're going to have to move up.
Oh, of course you would. Of course you would. Look what they have now is they have picks, they have salary cap space, and they have options. And let's not forget, too, Brady Tkachuk was inherited by Steve Staios. That wasn't his guy. Yep. Pierre Dorian made that pick, right? That was the Rasmus Dahlin draft. He made that pick. That was not Steve Staios. Now, Steve Staios gets to put more of his own signature on the Ottawa Senators. I know there's a lot of long faces in Ottawa, and I'm not interested in piling on, like I mentioned off the top. Not interested. It's a tough one. But I still do think this could turn out to be something better. The problem is, right now, Ottawa Senators last 2 years have been a playoff team. Last year, the Florida Panthers weren't, and they just got significantly better. So for all the teams that were right there on the edge, trying to get in, but didn't, Detroit, I'm looking your direction. The Florida Panthers just got significantly better. I know they don't have a goalie yet, but they just got better in a significant way. And look around.
They're going to get one.
Out. They will, but I really hope they get a bad one because I want every game to be wild. It would just be the coolest thing. I would watch every single Florida Panther game if they got a bad goalie because up front they're so good. The blue line is so good. And then if they just have like Scooby-Doo and net, I'll be like, oh, this is so great. This is fantastic. Every game is
9-8 and it's literally slap shot.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. This
Point on them. Let them know you're there.
1970s. Like this has the potential to be the 1970s. They're tough. They can score a ton. The forwards are elite. The blue line's big. And the whole team's nasty. And the goalie stinks. Yeah, give me that for the Florida Panthers. I will not miss a game.
It would be extremely entertaining. Extremely entertaining. But you know what would be better? And because he kind of checks a couple of the boxes in there, it would be Binnington. Because you know what he can do? He can put up stinkers so you can get those games. And then he'll also swing and try to take somebody's head off with his stick. So you just kind of get the best of both worlds in a Jordan Binnington situation.
I think he's too good. For what I want from the Florida Panthers, he's too good.
Okay, fair. He does surpass that level.
He will finally get his fight.
Yes.
He will finally get his fight.
Yes, he will.
If Binnington, okay, so I'll do it then. So if Binnington goes to the Florida Panthers, who does he get his fight against? I got my guy.
Vasilevsky's not Swayman.
Yes.
Is it Swayman?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Swayman.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. That's the one. It's Swayman. It's one game. They start getting a little nuts out there. It's a little squirrely in the third period. Next thing you know, Benner's flying down the ice after a scrum in front, and it's Swayman's ready to go. And it might be Swayman who comes down the other way and instigates it, actually. So, yeah, it's Swayman.
Okay, so there we go. So we got that all figured out. We've already got. Not only do we already have Jordan Binnington going to the Florida Panthers, but we got his fight.
Yeah.
We got his fight booked. Okay, so that's really good. Another note, I put this out this morning. I don't think it's done yet, but it's very much trending this direction. And a lot of people are really happy about this, and they should be, because I'm going to go ahead and guess that this guy's going to be an NHL coach one day. Joel Ward will be the next head coach of the Henderson Silver Knights, which is just a fantastic story, especially if you know anything about Joel Ward's backstory and his history of playing hockey and how much he had to struggle and fight and scrap for every single inch of ice that he got, or even just the ability to get on the ice. You talk, there's perseverance, and then there's like Joel Ward perseverance. I can't say enough good things about Joel Ward, and anyone that's ever played with him or been a fan of him says the exact same thing. So thrilled that this opportunity is there for Joel Ward to be the head coach of the Henderson Silver Knights. Look for that one to happen. And I don't know if it's already been announced, but Drew Bannister will be last seen, of course, with the St. Louis Blues. Drew Bannister will be the next head coach of the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds of the OHL. So he goes back to the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. So the Raftis-Bannister combination returns. That would have been the combination when Rasmus Sandin was there. You remember that guy? Rasmus Sandin from your Toronto first round draft pick from the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds and his elite sneaker collection. One of the best junior hockey sneaker collections anyone's ever had. Yes, that guy.
Yes. Also, notably scratched the hell out of the top of his G-Wagon in a William Nylander YouTube video. So that was also something he did as well.
We all have different memories. We all have different memories. Do we leave anything on the table here today? Is there anything that we have left out? I always feel bad. Like, I finish up the program and then like I'll go for a run, and halfway through it, like, oh, I forgot to mention this.
No, I think we've pretty much gone over everything there. We went through the Tkachuk trade, and that's next for Ottawa. So the Oilers extensions. We went through the Seattle situation. So I think we've pretty much hit everything for today. The Hockey Hall of Fame coming up. The announcement's coming up later today.
Oh, that's what I wanted to mention. So that's going to be announced in 1 hour. I mean, look, Patrice Bergeron is a shoe-in. I'm going to go ahead and say Carey Price is too. But here's what I'm curious about. 2029. Okay, think about this for a second. Jonathan Toews just retired. Announced his retirement. Mm-hmm. Andrei Kopitar has retired. Jonathan Quick has retired. Jaromir Jagr has said, that's it for me. We'll see if he goes through with it. But he said, like, that's probably it for him. And maybe Alex Ovechkin is coming back, and maybe he's not. So 3 years from now, you choose Ovechkin, Jagr, Toews, Kopitar, Quick. What a Hall of Fame class.
Yeah, that's a good class.
Yeah, it's a pretty good class.
It is insane that Jagr just could find a way to fit into that class, given where he's at and the teammates or peers that he's had who have already been inducted into the Hall of Fame along the way. And you're just looking at him fitting into that class in particular, realizing how much older he is than a lot of those guys. Yeah. It's just because he won't stop playing hockey. He just refused to stop playing hockey.
I that is part of it. The other part of it too is, so his team Kladno, he's essentially played these last however many years just to keep the whole thing afloat financially. Yeah. Like this was like, organization in crisis, and he was the attraction, and he kept playing. This is one of the reasons why I think you could have made a compelling argument to waive the 3-year candidacy and just give it to him while he was still playing, which the Hall of Fame, by the way, just didn't do for like Wayne and Mario. They've done it for like, I think it's 8 or 9 players, starting with Dick Clapper. So it's not like he's the only one that they've done it for. They did it for other players. I don't know if they have any plans to do it again, but Jagr you could have made a case for. Because Jagr legitimately, you could look at and say, frick, this guy could be playing forever. He doesn't want to get off. He doesn't want to get off the ice. Okay, so a couple more things here before we wrap things up. So yeah, we'll look forward to that. We'll talk more about the class of 26 on tomorrow's edition of The Sheet. I want to do game changers here, and we'll finish up with your shine. You've run out of games, man. You've run out of games now, Zach.
I'm cooked.
We'll get to that in a second. Game Changers is presented by Canadian Blood Services. This segment is a presentation of Canadian Blood Services, who invite you to experience what giving feels like. In a world that can feel isolating and divided, blood and plasma donation offers something rare and fulfilling. Real connection, real purpose, real impact. Every summer, people across Canada get swept up in the excitement of the season, and donation routines can slip, but the need doesn't. This is a moment to rally together as a nation for new donors to experience firsthand what you get when you give. At a moment when many Canadians are looking for positive ways to show up for each other, Canadian Blood Services is issuing an invitation to new donors. Fill every donation share in the country this summer. Book at blood.ca through the Give Blood app or call 1-888 to donate. As I've mentioned before, this one is very personal to me. And this is something that I do every 3 months, which is the maximum that I am allowed to do. So if you can, I would please encourage you to either donate blood or plasma. So Game Changer, Zach, we're highlighting one draft-eligible player leading up to Friday's first round in Buffalo, the NHL draft, which, by the way, Pierre McGuire and I will be doing a pre-game show and a post-game show, and we've got something planned for you while the draft is going on. Details will be made later on this week as more details become available to us. But there's something we're doing. We've been working on it for a while, and we think it's kind of cool. So we talked about Gavin McKenna of Penn State. On Friday, and today, an intriguing name. What's that? Yeah, I know, right? We all know. 6'2". Last year Brady Martin was the farm boy. This year Carson Karls is the farm boy. Right-hand shot from Cypress River, Manitoba. 73 points, and he is dynamic. He's a left shot farm boy. He is a mobile defender. He is versatile, can play a lot of different roles. Occasionally, he is hostile, moves the puck out of his own zone. And, it's interesting, Zach. We keep talking about where does the draft begin? And the draft begins at 2. And nobody knows what the San Jose Sharks, Mike Greer, are going to do. I know there's a lot of, they're going to move the pick, they're going to trade the pick. I don't necessarily think so. Like they may go Ivar Stenberg, or they may just address a need, which is defense. Do they go Reed? Do they go Karls? You can make a compelling case for both. And the closer that we get to Friday, I'd expect to hear even more about Carson Karls, even though I think everyone has been sort of married to the New York Rangers at that pick, because I think, the Rangers kind of seem like the obvious team, and I know the Rangers really like him a lot. But this guy is a spectacular, dynamic defenseman that is going to be playing on your first pair for the next 10 years when he makes it to the NHL. Going to North Dakota, by the way, who today, did you see this, Bryn Chiswick? North Dakota?
No.
Recruited the Ruck brothers, Marcus and Liam. Not for next season. They're going back to Medicine Hat, but for 2027. He's done an incredible job recruiting. Carl's going to be there next year playing with Verhoff. He's done a great job recruiting. Bryn Chiswick, that guy hustles. He's smart. He's got a good program to sell. That helps.
Ruck brothers.
The Rucks, yeah.
Oh, my God. Good on him. That'll be fun. Anyway, this Carol's kid, we got to watch him in person when we went out there for Penticton. Yeah. Very fun player to watch live. Very fun player to watch.
You can see the difference, right? And we saw this with Tarek Parasak as well, who's playing on that Prince George team too. You can tell the guys that have been drafted and are getting they're ready for the next step in their career. Holy smokes, he distinguished himself every time he touched the puck. How good did Karls look in that? Again, this is the one game that we saw when we were out there in Penticton in the PG Penticton series. He stood out as the best player on the ice. He's the best player on the ice, hands down.
Yeah, by far. Yeah. No, I agreed. And as for the draft itself, I I'm actually excited for it this year because
Oh, really? Why?
I know
I wonder why. Oh, wow. Noted Maple Leaf fan Zach Phillips is excited about the draft this year. Wow. Go on.
Skip
Go
that
on.
part.
Yeah,
skip
tell
that
us,
part.
tell us about that, Leaf fan.
Skip that part.
Go on. Okay. Yeah.
That's not what I meant. That's not
I'm
what I
excited
meant.
about the draft. My mom just went
I'm
shopping
excited.
and I'm hungry. Oh, okay. Really? Great.
That's not what I meant.
Okay.
But if you do want to see me get excited, by the way, we're doing the pre and post draft show.
Yep.
Right after the pre-show, we're doing a Leafs watch along as well for.
Oh,
the
no
draft.
way.
So that will be happening.
I did
Yeah,
know
so
that.
I'll be
That's
running
amazing.
over.
So hang on. Okay. So that's you and Alberga Rosie too?
Yep, and Dan Riccio. Yep.
And Dan Riccio. Oh, that's amazing. That's great. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yes.
That'd be a good time.
Yeah, for like an hour during that, and then once that ends, then I pop back over and get ready for the post-draft show. So it'll be bouncing back and forth as the draft goes on. But the reason I'm excited, Jeff,
Yes.
the obvious
Yes.
I'm excited for, what do the Maple Leafs do? Who
Yeah,
do they pick? It's for what we could see, not only with who's drafted, but what happens with these picks. Again, we point to the Ottawa one and who's sitting there, but it just kind of feels like we could see a ton of movement. And every year we say there's going to be movement, and then there never really is anything overly dramatic. Kind of feels like we're going to see some dramatic stuff here this year. And I'm wondering, too, about teams trying to get their own picks back if they don't have them, whether that's in the first round or later
Oh,
on.
why? Oh, why?
To set up some of these
Well, the
moves
thing
that
is-
could be taking place later on.
I mean, if they try to get their own picks back for this year, then that does nothing for offer sheets because they'll have made their picks and they wouldn't be available. You're talking about like 27.
I'm talking about in the future, yes.
Subsequent
I'm
picks,
talking about
okay.
moving picks now for picks back later in
You're
upcoming
talking about
years.
like how Colorado just mysteriously got their own third rounder back from Nashville.
I could be pointing to something like that.
And
yep.
we're thinking of Arseny Gritzik or Paul Cotter. Is that what you're kind of getting at here, offer sheet? It might be low, but
could
still.
be thinking of things like that. Yes.
okay.
To be clear too on that, as you pointed out, I am talking about trading picks this year
Yes.
for picks in following years because, as you
Gotcha.
just mentioned, it wouldn't work for this year. It would have to be for upcoming. But I'm just wondering if people start. Would you like us pick this year in this draft? We'll take that pick in 2027.
I'm telling you,
we'll take
dude.
the 2028 picks.
To me, the wild card pick of all of them is, and who knows where the Boston Bruins are at and what they want to do and what's available to them. But they have one of the most intriguing pieces of trade bait. The unprotected first of the Toronto Maple Leafs in 2 years.
Yep. Yeah. That's so brutal. I know. I can't even.
So-
I keep getting caught up in the excitement of what's happening right now as a Leafs fan, and then it just gets thrown in there. Oh, the Flyers have the pick in next year. Well, whoever it gets awarded to next year, and then the year after that with Boston. But just the fact that those two picks are gone is just dagger to the heart.
Here's what I
Trying
want you
to
to
think
go.
about how this team.
I want you to go.
maneuvers.
I want you to go look up Maddox Schultz and get back to me on what you think about Maddox Schultz.
No.
No,
I think I'm good.
not gonna do it. I'm good.
I'll skip that. Thank you, though.
Don't need to see who's going first in 2028. Okay, you don't need to see that one.
No.
Oh, by the way, speaking of future draft pick, Landon DuPont visited both Michigan State and Michigan this past week, and at the same time, CHL fans, Everett is still not out of it. We shall see, and maybe we'll get an answer as early as today. Who knows? But Everett is still not out. It'll be tough, but Everett's still not out. We'll see what happens. That'll be a story this week. Where's Landon DuPont going, or is Landon DuPont staying with the Everett Silvertips?
I'll just throw something in here because I know we're getting towards the end. So just to wrap on some of the Brady Tkachuk stuff there, Steve Staios spoke. A couple different people, Bruce Garriock and Julian McKenzie, putting some stuff out. But
what do we got?
For some clarity on this, I think we all knew, but Julian tweets, Steve Staios was asked about what changed from him previously said trade talk about Brady Tkachuk, and Brady saying it was, quote, nonsense, and Steve Staios said, and quote, a trade request changed. Pretty pointed on that one. And then it was also brought up that Staios also confirmed that Tkachuk was interested in going to one team. And Staios felt comfortable with the return he got, but that was what it was. That was just some clarity that was put out by Julian McKenzie from the Steve Staios thing. And again, I know that this is some Captain Obvious stuff that I've just brought up here to the show, and is
No,
not
that's
some
fine.
groundbreaking information.
But it's what it is confirmation over things that we've been talking about for years.
Yeah.
And Ottawa Senators fans have said, like, shut up, he's not leaving.
Yeah. So I just wanted to provide that context to the show here today as we kind of got towards the end. Those were some things put out in the last hour.
Hang on. When the late Larry Brooks said that the Rangers were trying to get Brady Tkachuk, he wasn't making that up.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like, I know Sens fans didn't want it. It's tough to hear, like, at the time when it's happening. We get it. And again, like, I don't want, like I said off the top of the show, I have no interest in piling on Ottawa Senators fans here. And I do think they have a wonderful opportunity to have a new direction here for their team, probably quickly too. And I hope that they're a better team out of this because of this situation. But the reality was, like, no one was making stuff up here. Sens fans didn't want to hear it. I get it. But the idea that these were deliberate, malicious rumors that were being made up from media members out of the city of Ottawa was ludicrous. Mm-hmm. This has been out there for a long time. That's all. That's all. Now, by the way, no trades. Here's a spot quiz for you. Which player in the history of the NHL had the first no trade clause?
Oh, I don't even know where to begin. I have no clue.
King Clancy of the Ottawa Senators in 1923. On his contract, it had written cannot be sold, traded, or anything, blah, 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 with this player. No trades are not new. Darryl Sittler's was the most famous with the Toronto Maple Leafs in the 1970s when he was asked to waive to go to Minnesota. He said no, refused to waive his no trade, and so instead, Punch Imlach traded his best friend, Lanny McDonald, to Colorado. Like, oh, you won't go to Minnesota? We're trading your best friend. And then went about trading all of Sittler's friends. He took the C off the sweater, and the rest, as they say, is history.
What a proud organization.
New. No, look, all I'm saying is, like, no trades aren't new. Like, we have to do something about no trades. No trades have existed since 1923. This is not new. This is not new in the league. Anyhow, I want to see what you come up with for this one. We're talking about FanDuel. All the action both on the ice and off the ice as well. From Blue Line to BetSlip, FanDuel's got you covered all season. Unique promos, live offerings, and more features to let you play your game. Download FanDuel Sportsbook today and play your game. Please play responsibly, 18 plus and physically located in Ontario. If you have questions or concerns about your gambling or the gambling of someone close to you, please contact Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge. Congratulations to your Toronto Marlies, who played better than your microphone did on your postgame show.
I know.
On Friday.
It's like the worst feeling in the world having that happen. I've never had it the entire time I've done a show, and my cord, and I was talking to our boss after, but I've had this since I started podcasting in 2017. So it was about time that the cord went out. It's just something you never think about, and then the cord died. So we have a brand new cord that arrived yesterday aftemnoon. I have a new mic stand that arrived 30 minutes before the show, so I've got to set that up after. But yes, we've got some new gear here, and hopefully that doesn't happen again. But yeah, fun show on Friday night. Cool
Great job with Marlies After Dark. Really good, smart show, and I look forward to doing that after every Marlies game next year too.
Don't do that to me.
Leafs and Marlies After Dark.
Yeah.
Are we gonna do UCC Beer League After Dark too? You hustle home and you do post game show.
Talk about my game.
Yeah.
Talk about my team's performance. Yeah.
You know,
I don't think so.
I was a dash 4, but I really didn't. I was a dash 4, but I think I played a better game than that. I don't think that tells the whole story. That was
We're gonna have to get a Live Barn sponsorship so that I can play the clips on the post game show and stuff. Break down my game.
Did you see Live Barn got sold for $500 million?
Oh, I did.
Oh,
good on them.
Started. Is it in Montreal? Like for
Montreal-based company.
any parent who has a kid that plays, like, you know how valuable Live Barn is. I saw that number and just went, oh, good for them. That's amazing. Now let's just hope that that doesn't turn into like a premium subscription site where you got to pay through the nose. I say that knowing full well that that's probably what's going to happen to Live Barn. But while we had it, it was great. Thanks, Live Barn.
Yeah.
You were the best. You were the best.
Exactly. All right, let's get to what we have for today. And I'm sure you can predict what I've chosen to put up here.
Marley's odds for next year.
No.
Oh, okay.
Let's take a look at the updated Stanley Cup odds following yesterday afternoon.
Florida wasn't even in the playoffs.
The Florida Panthers are now the third favorite to win the Stanley Cup this year, plus 800, a jump from they were at plus 1,300 as of Friday afternoon when I had last looked at this. So now moving up, surpassing teams like the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Edmonton Oilers, and the Minnesota Wild, as well as the Vegas Golden Knights. They have jumped over.
Tampa keeps flaming out in the first round, and they're still top 4. Every year, and this year we said, okay, they'll take care of Montreal. Nope. They keep flaming out in the first round, and they're still top 4.
Oh, I know.
They lost Darren Radish.
Yeah. I'm not sold on them.
Okay.
To win, that is.
How
obviously,
Colorado,
making
Colorado
the playoffs
be that high, too? There's another one. You know what it's going to be? Again, next year's going to be jump ball for the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
You know the answer to
be which players want to play for your team this summer, and we'll figure it out from there.
I really do wonder how different Carolina will look next year. Because the common wisdom is they're just going to run it back, and why not? Provided they stay healthy, they got everything to repeat. But you know Tulsky. What's Tulsky famous for saying? I don't stop until we have all of the best players in the league on our team. How do we get the best players on our team? Like, that's what he's singularly focused on. By the way, did you like the Nick Delorier contract signing with Tulsky? That was a nice touch, eh?
And I believe Corey put it out.
Are there two more different people in the world than Eric Tulsky and Nick Delorier?
No kidding. Tulsky standing up there. A smaller, more frail-looking guy, and then Delorier, just this mutant standing beside him.
Caveman.
Big beard, tattoos, hammered.
It's see those commercial like a chemist standing next to like a caveman, right? And there's like that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like. That's what it was. It was hilarious. Dude, I live for stuff like this. For that moment, I'm like, oh, I've stayed alive this long. I get to see this. This is awesome. Oh, I've lived one more day. I get to see this. Oh, this is great. I love this. This is fantastic. Watching Tulsky introduce and sign Nick Delorier made my weekend.
I had a laugh, too, at Corey Lavalette clarifying. I believe it was Corey who clarified that the contract was not actually signed in a drunken stupor on stage. It was agreed to and signed before they went up there, but that was to further the spectacle of Delorier's extension, which I appreciated that, the on-stage theatrics of it, but I also had a laugh at Corey's tweet to make sure everybody knew, don't worry, the contract is not null because he was intoxicated.
True or false, there have been contracts that have been nullified because one or both parties were intoxicated.
I'm going to say true.
Your Toronto Maple Leafs and the Chicago Blackhawks with Frank Mahovlich at the Royal York Hotel on Front Street, Harold Ballard. Just a puddle. Traded Frank Mahovlich to the Chicago Blackhawks for $1 million. I remember one of the times I was at the Research Center, the Hall of Fame Research Center. I was shown the sheet of paper with the Royal York Hotel stationery that the trade was signed on, and the NHL rejected it because both parties did it while they were like not just like over a drink, like both parties were hammered, and it got rejected. There was another
This is
famous
my
story. There was
team.
another famous story with two general managers who got to the draft, and they had been drinking the night before, and they made a deal, and they got to the draft, and it got rejected because the trade didn't match up, and each general manager thought they were getting the first round pick in the deal because they were both hammered the night before when they made that deal.
This is what a league.
It's the best.
What a league.
What a league. What a league. What a league. So,
This, by the way, this is the draft that I want the full. I would want them on the floor, cameras following them. You don't have to have microphones, but you know how we've talked about like the NHL 24/7 where you see everything? This is the draft. I want it more than anything where you see the GM getting up and running to the other table and talking to somebody, and then somebody else goes to another table, and then they're on the phones. Like, I want to see that at this draft. A play-by-play. Like an NFL red zone. Of the draft floor. That's what I want to see right now. Cameras on every table the entire draft. I don't
Best
care about
I've
seeing
seen-
the players up on stage. Put them up there for 3 seconds.
best I've seen is one team called another asking for cigarettes for their general manager, and that team's general manager walking over to the other team's desk or table and holding them over the head of the general manager who wanted the cigarettes while he jumped up, while still wouldn't stand up, but just jumped up trying to grab the cigarettes from another general manager. And all I could think about is, this is the NHL.
What a league.
It's the best, man. I love it. I just love it. I absolutely love it. All right, so there we go. So we got some boozy trades and GMs grabbing smokes the draft and haunting each other. I got a weird job. Okay.
You do.
Yeah, we got a freaking weird job. But it beats working for a living. Listen, thanks to Brandon Bussi for stopping by the program of the Carolina Hurricanes. Thanks to the media relations crew at the Carolina Hurricanes for always making this thing happen. That crew is led by the great Mike Sundheim. And thanks to Dave Pagnotta for stopping by and sharpening the pencil on a number of things, most importantly, and immediately the Brady Tkachuk trade to the Florida Panthers. Wow, that just came out of my mouth. Doesn't it still feel kind of weird? I mean, we all looked at it and said, like, yeah, that does make a lot of sense. We have put 2 and 2 together before, never figuring this is going to be the way that it happened, but there it was. And now Brady Tkachuk is a member of the Florida Panthers, who just got even more miserable to play against. Unbelievable. Anyway, enjoy that. It has already been a better summer for trades, and it's not even summer here. It's already been a better, proper summer for trades than it was last year. We anticipate this continuing right through to the draft. As we mentioned, we will be doing a pregame for the draft, me and Pierre Maguire. Zach will be doing a watch-along with Maple Leafs fans, along with, who do you got? You got Dan Riccio on there. You got Alberga. You got Rosie, and you got you, right? There we go.
Yeah.
That's going to be the watch along for the first hour. Then Pierre and I will do a full post-game program immediately following the draft, so we'll have you all covered. There we go. Thanks a lot for joining me here today. Big show, busy show. More tomorrow because there'll be like a million different trades between this time and tomorrow. Maybe the Ottawa Senators will have traded all those picks they just got for Brady Tkachuk and found a new left winger. We shall see. In the meantime, enjoy 40 minutes from now when the 2026 Hockey Hall of Fame class is announced. 37 is a tap-in. We'll see what happens after that. Perhaps Carey Price too, but we shall see. We'll talk about it all tomorrow right here, 1 o'clock Eastern on The Sheet. Jeff Marek along with you. Hope you enjoyed the program today. If you did, or maybe even if you didn't, they can't all be gems, folks. Please hit the subscribe button. Also a reminder, every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, Johnny Lazarus, Colby Cohen, I call them the Impact Players. You might know them as a tandem that makes up the Morning Cup of Hockey. Also DFO Live at noon Eastern. This year, your host Tyler Yaremchuk alongside Carter Hutton. Full day's worth of programming right here on Daily Faceoff, your favorite YouTube hockey channel. And as a reminder as well, Zach Phillips, our producer here for The Sheet, said if you subscribe, he'll buy you a puppy.